Have you ever had the strange feeling that something bigger protects you, even when everything seems to be against you? Have you ever felt that you carry a spiritual force that you cannot explain, but that intimidates, drives away, and silences even those who wish you harm? Edgar Cayce, the legendary sleeping prophet, revealed truths that had been hidden for decades. He not only believed in the connection between signs and spirituality. Cayce stated that certain signs were born marked by a mission that goes beyond the physical plane. These 5 signs didn't just come to live an ordinary life. They carry an invisible seal, a spiritual mark that protects, guides, and frightens. There is an ancestral energetic pattern that accompanies those born under these cosmic configurations, and it is no coincidence that these people face subtle attacks, envious looks, and inexplicable resistance. The enemy, whether human, spiritual, or emotional, feels when one of these signs enters an environment. It is as if their soul is issuing a silent warning to the invisible world. Do not come any closer. I am protected. And it is precisely this hidden power that makes these people unique, chosen, guardians of a mystery that Cayce began to unravel. In this video, you will discover which 5 signs carry this rare energy, this spiritual mark that transforms and repels evil. If you are one of these signs, or know someone who is, you will finally understand why so many things have happened in your life without explanation. And if you've ever felt, even if silently, that you were born with something different inside you, perhaps this confirmation is all that was needed. But be careful, this is not for everyone. Only those marked will recognize what will now be revealed. If at some point in your life you've ever caught yourself thinking that certain things simply have no logical explanation, like strange deliverances, dreams that seemed like messages, or a force that stopped you from falling, then this video was made for you. Because what Edgar Cayce revealed was not just about signs, it was about destiny, spiritual mission, and invisible protection. And understanding this can completely change the way you see your story. Therefore, before we continue with the revelations, I want you to do something simple, but very powerful. Comment below your sign. This isn't just interaction, it's part of the process. It's as if you are activating a seal, a public confirmation that you feel this calling, this spiritual imprint. Write in the comments, I carry this energy, if you have been through situations that are only now beginning to make sense. And don't forget, leave a like, because this helps this message reach other people who may also be trying to understand what they have always felt, but never knew how to explain. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next revelations. Yes, what you'll see today is just the beginning. Each video here is like a piece of a larger puzzle, and you're about to discover that it wasn't an accident that you got here. Your spiritual awakening may be beginning now. Get ready, because the first sign revealed carries a force that many tried to erase, but never managed. Have you ever felt like something protects you, even when everything seems lost? As if a force was always lurking, guiding and shielding you? It's not just a coincidence. There are people who carry within themselves a vibration so high, so ancestral, that even without realizing it, they walk under silent but powerful spiritual protection. This strength does not come from chance, nor from luck. It is part of who you are, and often, this energy comes with what the ancients called a spiritual mark, an invisible yet deeply felt seal. Edgar Cayce, known as the sleeping prophet, channeled messages of subtle plans for decades that today, with the advancement of modern spirituality, make even more sense. In his records, Cayce spoke of ancient souls who reincarnated under specific signs of the zodiac with very well-defined purposes and spiritual missions that not everyone is prepared to carry out. According to him, there are 5 signs that, from birth, arrive into the world with this mark engraved in their energy field. And this brand is not just symbolic. It manifests itself in the form of divine protection, heightened sensitivity, perception of invisible risks, and an internal strength that sometimes scares even those who try to get close. Have you ever noticed that some people, even in the midst of chaos, remain standing? Even injured, do they remain firm, as if something was stopping them from falling for good? These people usually belong to these signs, and for this reason, they are the target of heavy looks, meaningless resistance, and disguised envy. Because what scares the enemy isn't always the appearance, it's the light. It is the energy that shines even when the body is tired. It is the spiritual magnetism that cannot be explained but can be felt. And the most curious thing? Many of these people still don't know that carry this seal. They grow up feeling different, out of place, misunderstood. But it's not because they're wrong. It's because they are marked. These 5 signs represent spiritual archetypes that cross lives, dimensions, and cycles. They don't just live, they awaken. Wherever they arrive, they transform. Sometimes in silence, sometimes just with a look. Edgar Cayce said that these souls come from distant places, and that the memory of the mission they carry is gradually activated through signs, pains, encounters, and deliverances. And the most impressive thing, those who carry this mark tend to go through intense trials from an early age, not because the universe is cruel, but because these souls need to be polished. They are trained in the fire of abandonment, of loss, of doubt, so that they can accomplish what they came to do. If you've ever had experiences that no one understood, if you've ever had dreams that were so real they seemed like messages, if you felt like something bad was going to happen and, without knowing why, you changed your path and broke free, then maybe you're one of them. Maybe the mark is on you. Because the energy of these signs is not limited to what is in the birth chart. It vibrates beyond. It manifests itself in the choices we make, in the silences we keep, in the pains we carry in secret, and mainly, in the strength we showed when everyone expected us to collapse. This brand also keeps away what is not pure. How many times have you tried to get closer to someone, and for no apparent reason, they pulled away? How many friendships ended coldly, without explanation? How many environments felt heavy when you entered? This is no ordinary energy. It is a presence that carries spiritual codes that many cannot support. The enemy, whether visible or invisible, immediately recognizes who is protected. And so, he reacts. Attack. Try to destabilize. But you can't keep it for long, because these 5 signs have forces at their side that will not bend. Edgar Cayce spoke of a spiritual cycle in which these souls would awaken en masse, a time where external chaos would cause the internal light to begin to shine brighter. And according to their visions, that time is now. The awakening has begun. The chosen ones are finding themselves, and recognizing your spiritual sign is the first step to fully activating this protection and mission. It's not about ordinary astrology. It's about deep spirituality. It's about knowing that your sign isn't just a label. It's a cosmic password that connects you to the divine plan. But be careful. The spiritual mark is not something to feed the ego. On the contrary, those who carry it are often tested repeatedly, because those who have light are uncomfortable. Those who have a mission do not have an easy life, and those who came to heal are often wounded. First, therefore, these 5 signs, even though they are so protected, are also the most sensitive. They feel too much. They get tired easily. They need more silence, more introspection, because what they process inside is much bigger than anyone imagines. They are channels, antennas, guardians. Can you remember a time when everything seemed to conspire against you, and yet something stopped you from falling? Remember that accident that almost happened, but for some reason, you decided to change your route, leave early, or delay for a few minutes? Or that dream that seemed like a warning and that you later realized saved you from something worse? This is no illusion. They are signs, traces, presences that accompany you since birth, presences that often manifest themselves precisely in moments when you think you are alone. And now, before revealing the first of the 5 signs marked with this force, I want you to reflect. Have you ever felt like you were born different? That your intuition saves you? That your pain was never just a pain but an initiation? If this resonates with you, then you need to stick with me until the end of this video, because in the next few minutes, not only will I tell you what these signs are, I'll also explain why they are feared, tested, and deeply protected, and perhaps among them is yours. But before that, I want you to help me identify who carries this energy here among us. Comment your sign below. Just it. Simple. If you want, you can also write, I carry this energy, or I am protected. This is not just engagement, it is a confirmation ritual, as if you were saying to the universe, I recognize the brand I carry. And if any part of this video ever made you feel like it was made for you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because what you will hear now will mark you forever. What if I told you that it was no coincidence that you got here? that something bigger, older, and deeply connected to your essence guided you to this video exactly at this moment? This is not just spiritual content. This is a calling. And when Cayce talked about the 5 marked signs, he wasn't just making predictions. He was describing souls. Souls who, throughout different lives, have always carried with them a mission that goes beyond common understanding. A mission that doesn't begin when you discover your sign, but when you accept who you really are. From the beginning, these signs walk as if watched by invisible eyes. There's a constant feeling that there is something protecting them but also demanding them. They cannot live on superficiality. They need depth, truth, silence. They are intense. They are intuitive. They are different. They carry pains that they don't know where they came from. They miss places they have never visited. They look to the sky with questions that no one else is asking. And the most curious thing, they perceive the danger before it even manifests itself. This happens because their soul carries accumulated wisdom. It's as if the cells know that this life isn't the first time they've been tested. These 5 signs are guardians of rare energy. In many moments, this energy scares those around it because it reveals. She exposes. She pressures the truth to come out. And people who live in lies, ego, manipulation, cannot stand the presence of someone who carries this vibration. Have you ever noticed that there are people who walk away from you for no reason? People who feel uncomfortable just being close? This isn't personal. This is energetic. Its light activates the discomfort of those who do not want to look inside. And Cayce was clear in saying that in these times, the bearers of this mark would be finding themselves again. Not physically, but spiritually. And that's what's happening here. Your energy attracted this message, because the message is, in fact, a mirror. She is not here to teach you something new, but to remind you of what you already know. Something that your soul already recognizes, but your mind still hesitates to accept. And that's why most of those who carry this spiritual seal go through existential crises, through moments of isolation, through phases in which they feel like they don't belong anywhere. They weren't meant to fit together. They were made to break patterns. And every time they try to adapt to what is small, mediocre, shallow, they get sick. They feel tired, drained, lost. Edgar Cayce said that these souls came with activation codes that only awaken when faced with specific signals. One of them is recognition. When they hear something that vibrates with their essence, something lights up. It's not rational, it's spiritual, and you are living it now. Do you know why? Because the simple idea that you could be among these 5 signs doesn't scare you. It excites you. It makes sense to you, relieve you. Because deep down, you always knew you were different. I always knew that your dreams wanted to tell you something. You have always felt that the invisible is watching you, but not with threat, but with love. The truth is that most people who carry this mark have gone through life trying to fit in, trying to be normal, trying to silence the call, ignore hunches, rationalize synchronicities. But there comes a time when the soul can't take it anymore, and then the inner revolution begins. And if you are here, it is a sign that this revolution has already begun. Maybe slowly, maybe in silence, but it is happening. And the more you listen to these signs, the more the spiritual protection around you strengthens. But the paths align. But the invisible begins to guide you in a clear, direct, constant way. Cayce warned that this spiritual mark is also a contract. Not afraid, but responsibly. Because it doesn't just come to protect, it comes to awaken you. To remind you that you are not here just to survive, work, pay bills, and die. You came to do something, and that something is not great in the sense of the world, it is great in the sense of the soul. It could be healing people with your presence. It could be saying a sentence that transforms someone. It could be writing, to feel, intuit. You know what it is. Deep down, you know. You just need internal permission to accept. And that's why the energy of these 5 signs is so bothersome. Because it activates. She moves. It transforms. People with this vibration enter environments and everything changes. They don't always understand why. Sometimes they blame themselves for being too intense, too emotional, too different. But it's not excess. It's essence. It is an undomesticated soul. It's a connection with dimensions that most people don't access. And all of this, everything, has to do with who you are and the exact moment in which you are watching this video. Because while most seek logical explanations, you are listening to your intuition, and she doesn't lie. You know that time you had a dream so vivid that you woke up with your heart racing, that feeling that something big was about to happen, even without a concrete reason, that voice that said, "Don't go that way," or "Call that person now." These are manifestations of your active spiritual connection. These are ways for the invisible to tell you, you are not alone, ho. And people who have this mark in their signs experience this kind of thing all the time, not by chance, but by design. They are channels, bridges between worlds, portals. Edgar Cayce also spoke of pain as a spiritual teacher, and everyone who carries this mark has experienced some type of deep pain. It could have been abandonment, betrayal, loneliness, losses that seem to have no explanation. But unlike other people, these pains didn't destroy. They shaped. They carved the soul. They opened space inside for something bigger to enter. And that something greater is what begins to blossom when you accept who you are, when you stop denying your spiritual origin, when you understand that your sign is more than an astrological position. It's a map of your mission here. Now, before I show you the first sign on this sacred list, I want you to make a simple but symbolic movement. Leave the phrase in the comments, "I carry this energy." If at some point in your life you felt that you were protected from something inexplicable, if you've ever had a strong feeling, if you had revealing dreams, or you've simply felt different all along, also write your sign so that we can create a chain of spiritual recognition here in the comments. Because what's about to be revealed isn't just about signs. It's about you. It's about what's awakening inside right now. And if this message has made sense so far, like this video, turn on notifications, and subscribe to the channel, because this journey is just beginning. Scorpio is not just intensity. Scorpio is a spiritual enigma. Edgar Cayce saw in this sign a soul that carries the weight of death and rebirth in every possible form. Pain was the baptism of those born under this sign, but not an ordinary pain, but one that shatters the ego so that the soul can reveal itself. Scorpios don't just feel, they walk through portals. They are guardians of the invisible, mediators between light and shadow. Therefore, silence is your armor. They don't scream, they don't beg, they don't expose themselves easily, because they know that whoever carries a spiritual seal needs to walk in secret. Cayce said that Scorpios were trained in other lives to endure what would destroy most. And so when an enemy approaches, he feels it. No warning, no logic, no words. He feels it and retreat. Because this spiritual mark is scary, Scorpio has the power to regenerate, to heal, but also to disintegrate bad energy with a simple look. It's not about revenge, it's about energetic protection. Those who underestimate them do not understand who they are dealing with. Pisces carries the sensitivity of angels. Cayce said that this sign is born with its feet on earth, but its soul is still attached to the spiritual plane. They are living channels, translators of the invisible, intuitive to a point that is frightening. Pisces don't need to understand to feel, and that's why they are marked with a soft, silent pain, that of carrying the energy of everyone around them. They are energy absorbers. When they are in a busy environment, they get sick. When they are surrounded by love, they flourish. This emotional oscillation is not fragility. It is a consequence of the connection with what cannot be seen. They are old, wise souls who came with an expanded heart and a look that sees beyond the flesh. The spiritual mark of Pisces is so deep that often the natives themselves do not recognize it. They live in denial, trying to fit in, trying to be practical, but their mission is spiritual. They are natural healers, and the mission to heal requires feeling. Therefore, the universe sends them the clearest signs, the most exact synchronicities, the most surprising deliverances. There is no way to ignore it. Even if they try to escape the call, the soul screams, because this brand puts them to work. And even if the enemy tries to get closer, there is something stopping him. Pisces' vibration is too high. When activated, no shadow resists. Capricorn is, for Cayce, the sign of spiritual builders. Most people think of Capricorn as materialistic, cold, rational. But what few see is the temple that this sign carries inside. Capricorn is discipline at the service of the soul. They are old souls who reincarnated to leave structures of wisdom wherever they go. They don't talk much. They don't get emotional easily. But everything they do is ritual. Their work is a mission. Their life is an altar. They carry the weight of spiritual responsibility, and they know it. They feel from a very early age that they cannot fail, that they need to be strong, hold on to. The world maintain control. This is not ego. This is mission. Therefore, Capricorn rarely indulges in lightness, because within them there is a spiritual clock, a constant reminder that they need to build something bigger than themselves. Cayce saw this sign as a bridge between heaven and earth. They are anchors. When they are firm, everything around is balanced. That's why the enemy fears, because Capricorn is almost impenetrable. It is the spiritual wall that protects, organizes, sustains. And even when they are silent, their presence emits a vibrational order that reorganizes the environment. If you know someone with Capricorn, notice, when they are well, everything around them stabilizes. This is no coincidence. It's part of the brand they carry. Leo, for Edgar Cayce, is conscious fire. Leo is the bearer of sunlight, not the one that blinds, but the one that warms, the one that guides. It's true that Leo likes to shine, but the shine he carries is not vanity, it's a mission. Leos were marked with an energy of spiritual leadership. When a Leo is connected to his essence, he does not command by force. It commands through vibration. He inspires. He wakes up. Cayce said that the Leo soul came into the world to remind others that you can trust yourself. They are catalysts for other people's self-confidence. But this has a price, because the brighter they shine, the more they attract looks of envy, of attempts to control, of sabotage. And that's where the spiritual mark reveals itself. Because no matter how much they try to take down a Leo connected with his mission, he gets back up, always. And each fall only increases the intensity of your light. The enemy feels this glow as a threat, because Leo reminds others of who they can be. That's why many Leos face betrayals, injustices, and moments of loneliness. But this is all part of the polishing process. Leo's heart is his altar, and when that heart opens, it heals. He lights the flame in those who had already extinguished it. Therefore, Leo is chosen, not just to shine, but to light the path of those who walk in darkness. And then we come to Aquarius. Aquarius. Edgar Cayce saw this sign as the herald of the spiritual future. Aquarians are visionaries, but not in a technological sense, but in a spiritual sense. They came ahead of time. They think as if they already know what is yet to come. They feel out of place because they are. They don't belong in the now. They are here to prepare the ground for something that has not yet been born. And this brings a deep loneliness, a feeling of constant incomprehension. They are rational mystics, intuitive questioners, connected with frequencies that few support. When an Aquarius is on their axis, they become a channel of revelation. It brings ideas, words, inspirations that don't seem human. This happens because the brand they carry is cosmic, not terrestrial. Cayce said that Aquarius is the sign of stellar messengers. They came with downloads of spiritual information that needs to be shared. And because of this, they face resistance, because they say what no one understands, because they feel what no one admits, because they see what many don't want to see. But Aquarius's mission is to persist, carry the message, ignite consciences, even if it costs rejection, distance, silence. The enemy, faced with an awakened Aquarius, remains silent, because he can't understand what he sees. Aquarius does not fight evil with force, fights frequently, and this frequency, when it is active, sweeps away what does not belong. Aquarians have the gift of deprogramming, and for this reason, they are feared on the invisible plane. If so far you have noticed traits of yourself in any of these signs, comment below which one you carry. Write, "This is my energy," or "I was recognized." If you know someone who is exactly like this, tag them. Share this video with anyone you know who was born with a different soul, because the next step of this revelation goes even deeper, and it's just the beginning. Cayce said, "Some signs were born with invisible protection, not by luck, but by mission." And this phrase was not just a poetic metaphor. It was a spiritual revelation, deep, scary for some, liberating for others. He saw the birth chart as more than a distribution of planets. It was a photograph of the soul, a silent contract between the spirit and the universe. The signs that he pointed out as marked, chosen, sealed with a spiritual purpose were also those most tested by life. Not because they were weak, but because they were prepared to carry something that many could not bear. This invisible protection is real, and you must have felt this more than once. When everything seemed lost, when the odds were against you, when logic said it was no longer possible, and yet something happened, something intervened, something spared you, pushed you, lifted you. It wasn't a coincidence. It was his seal vibrating. It was the brand responding. Edgar Cayce understood this in a way that few spiritual scholars have dared to explore. For him, what separated the chosen from the common was not divine favoritism, but a specific mission, a call that demands more, that pushes the soul to mature faster, to hurt deeper, and to be reborn more often. When Cayce entered a trance and accessed subtle planes of consciousness, he saw signs not as static archetypes, but as vortices of energy that, in certain configurations, there are automatic spiritual protection forces, as if certain births were predestined to touch and transform the world around them, even if silently. This protection does not manifest itself as a visible shield, but reveals itself in details that few notice, in the coincidences that save, in the delay that avoids the accident, in the person who disappears from your life before hurting you, in the intuition that pushes you away from something or someone. In every small deliverance, there is an energetic signature, and Cayce knew how to read these signatures like someone reading a sacred book. He said that the eyes of the spirit do not see the same as the eyes of the body, and therefore, those who are marked with this protection often do not even realize that they are different. Just feel. You just walk with the feeling that there is something bigger operating behind the curtain of reality. According to him, Scorpio, Pisces, Capricorn, Leo, and Aquarius were among the most recurrent when it came to reports of heightened spiritual sensitivity, prophetic dreams, spontaneous channelings, and unusual perceptions. And that doesn't mean they're better or superior. It just means they have a deeper role on the cosmic board. And like every important role, it comes with weight, responsibly, with consequences. Cayce understood that these signs carried not only distinct psychological traits, but an ancient spiritual coding, as if they had come from a time or place where the soul had already been awakened, polished, and put into service. He called this mission consciousness, an awareness that cannot be ignored for long without causing pain. That's why so many people of these signs face internal crises, periods of isolation, feelings of displacement, or even existential depression, because when they try to live like others, they suffer. When they try to follow worldly standards, something inside becomes sick. When you ignore your inner voice, your body screams. Cayce warned that this spiritual protection was not passive. It required commitment. It was like an alliance with the invisible plane, something that protects, guides, inspires, but also charges, calls, demands awakening. And no matter how much the world tries to convince you that you are exaggerating, that you are too sensitive, too dramatic, too strange, Cayce already said that the path of the chosen one is solitary by nature, not because he needs to be alone, but because few people will understand what he carries. The marked soul recognizes another marked soul, but until that encounter takes place, it walks among many who cannot see its depth, and that can be confusing. It may seem unfair. It can generate revolt. But as Cayce said, it's not luck, it's for mission. And the first step to taking on this mission is recognizing the seal that already vibrates within you. Have you ever noticed how, at certain moments, everything seemed to conspire against your downfall, but you remained standing? Even when you no longer had the strength, even when everything inside you said it was the end, something kept you going. How many times have you heard that silent voice saying, "Don't go, don't say, wait a little longer," and then realized that that choice saved you from something serious? How many times have people said that you have a different energy, a strong look, a presence that makes a statement? This is not spiritual vanity. This is vibration. It is active aura. It's a protective field in action. Edgar Cayce stated that these manifestations were not random, but spiritual codes that activated when the soul was ready to remember who it is. He believed that every human being is born with a soul plan, but that only some have this plan imprinted in their energy field in such an intense, pulsating way that it cannot be ignored. And these, when they try to live in distraction, get sick faster. When they lose their purpose, life begins to lose meaning. But when they align with the mission, everything flows. The doors open, the synchronicities multiply, intuition strengthens, the path lights up. These signs, according to Cayce, are natural receptors of spiritual information. Even when they don't have theoretical knowledge, they know. Sit down, capture, and they often doubt themselves because they have no one to share these experiences with. But Cayce encouraged these souls to trust what they feel, validating your internal signals, respecting what the body and soul are saying, because this is the language of the invisible. This is how angels, mentors, spiritual guides speak, with sensations, chills, strong emotions, intense dreams, unusual coincidences. So, if you are one of these 5 signs, or if you have recognized part of this energy in yourself, don't ignore the signs any longer. Cayce did not write this to massage egos, but to awaken souls. Not to put these signs on a pedestal, but to remember that whoever carries this seal cannot continue to sleep. The time for awakening has arrived, and this invisible protection that you carry, it is also a daily reminder that you are not left to chance. There is a greater intelligence guiding your steps, a mission imprinted in your spirit, a vibration that, when you begin to recognize, activates portals within and without you. If you are feeling this while listening to this video, if you feel chills, if you think about something you experienced, that now makes sense, comment below. This is my mission, or I carry the seal. And if you are a Scorpio, Pisces, Capricorn, Leo, or Aquarius, write your sign too. This isn't just comment, it's recognition, it's an activation ritual. And if you are here until now, it is because your soul has already recognized something that your mind is beginning to understand. The next step is even deeper, because now we're going to start unraveling the specific spiritual signs these signs receive when they're on the right path. So stay with me. You are not here by chance. Have you ever felt a chill come out of nowhere? Without wind, without cold, without any logical explanation? Have you ever woken up from a dream with the clear feeling that it wasn't just a dream, but a message, a warning coming from something bigger? Have you ever had the distinct impression that someone was watching you, but instead of fear, what you felt was peace, acceptance, presence? These are not random events. They are signs, mystical marks, spiritual fragments that subtly try to remind you of the truth. You are not alone. And more than that, you were chosen. These signs don't happen to everyone. They are selective, precise, tuned to a very specific vibration. And when they begin to repeat themselves, when they appear in moments of doubt, sadness, or turning points, it is because the soul is being called. It's the invisible trying to shake you, wake you up, take you away from the distraction of your routine and reposition you in your purpose. The people marked by Cayce as spiritually protected are precisely those who receive these codes most intensely. It's as if they have an internal antenna that captures everything, including what is not said, what is not seen, what is not touched. And the signs don't stop at goosebumps and dreams. They appear in very varied forms. Sometimes it's a specific song playing at the right time. Sometimes it's a butterfly passing through you in the middle of a difficult time. It could be a number that repeats every time you look at the clock, like 11:11, 22:22, or 3:33. It can be a sudden feeling of peace during the chaos, a smell that reminds us of someone who has already left, an animal that crosses your path again and again. These are spiritual calls, codes from the universe trying to say, hey, you are being guided. Remember who you are. And when these signs come frequently, it is because there is something in you that is already vibrating in tune with the higher plane. It's not about being special in the sense of superiority. It's about being connected. It's about having accepted, even if unconsciously, a spiritual mission. Edgar Cayce said that the more aligned the soul is with what it came here to do, the clearer and more constant the signs become. They are not gifts. They are confirmations. The soul asks for clarity, and the universe responds with these subtle nudges. The problem is that most people ignore it. Pretend you didn't see it. You think it's nonsense, but you know, you feel, you recognize. There are days when you wake up with a strange feeling, as if something is about to happen. And often, it happens. There are situations where you feel like you shouldn't trust someone, even for no reason, and then you discover that you were right. You have encounters with people who seem to carry a familiar energy, even though they are strangers. There are places that make you uncomfortable for no apparent reason, and others that calm you deeply even though they are simple. And the most interesting thing, when you try to explain this to someone, most people don't understand, can't feel what you feel, because it is not rational, it is spiritual. These expanded perceptions are more common in people who carry this spiritual mark described by Cayce. Signs such as Scorpio, Pisces, Capricorn, Leo, and Aquarius generally manifest these signs with greater intensity because they have a natural connection with the invisible. These are signs that often touch mystery, even without meaning to. And the more aware you become of this, the sharper your senses become. Those goosebumps start to have direction. Those dreams start to bring answers. That feeling of being observed becomes understood as a spiritual presence of protection, an angel, a mentor, a force that walks with you. And that's why often these people can no longer ignore what they feel. There comes a stage in life when there are so many coincidences that they cease to be coincidences. They become a sign. They become a compass. Life begins to be guided by this internal perception. And then the gifts appear. Gifts that were not learned, but awakened. Sensitivity give to the energy of others. Ability to feel pain that is not yours. Intuitions that are confirmed. Premonitory dreams, visions, plumbing. Not everything always comes with clarity. Sometimes it comes with confusion, with fear, with resistance. But come, and when it comes, it is impossible to go back to what it was. Edgar Cayce said that resisting the call only prolongs the pain, because the chosen one, when he tries to live as if he were ordinary, suffers. The soul begins to tighten inside. Everything that was comfortable starts to get uncomfortable. Everything that used to make sense starts to seem small. And that's when the signals increase, to force a choice, to push towards the path, to remember, you came with a mission, and it's time to remember her. These mystical signs also appear as tests. There are phases in which they intensify, not to calm you down but to prepare you. The universe sends a signal and waits for your reaction. Are you going to ignore it? Are you going to pretend you didn't see it? Are you going to carry on as if nothing had happened? Or will you look inside and ask yourself, what does this mean to me? The more attentive you are, the more refined your channel becomes, and the more protected you will be, because the true shield of the chosen is not physical. It is spiritual. It is conscious vibration. It is active perception. It is alignment with the greater plan. People who receive these signs frequently also tend to attract other awakened souls. Without knowing it, they form groups, silent networks, spiritual tribes. Sometimes they are physically distant, but energetically connected. They recognize each other in their eyes, in their speech, in their vibration. They feel as if they already knew each other from other lives. And maybe they do. Cayce talked about this as reunions of souls on mission, and these reunions are almost always activated by signs. So if you are listening to this content now, if you are remembering dreams you had, moments when you felt presences, signs you ignored out of fear, goosebumps that came with messages, numbers that repeat themselves, premonitions that were confirmed, perhaps this is your confirmation. Maybe this is the universe's way of telling you, the time has come to accept who you are, because whoever is marked feels it. Whoever is marked knows. Anyone who is marked does not need external proof. You just need to internally recognize the truth that pulses in silence. Now tell me here in the comments, has this ever happened to you? Ever had a dream that seemed more real than day? Have you ever felt a shiver that came with a certainty? Have you ever experienced a coincidence so absurd that it seemed like a movie? If so, right here, I receive signs. Or, this has already happened to me. Share your story. Don't be afraid to look weird. This space is for those who recognize, for those who feel, for those who know that they are more than flesh, more than mind, more than a name and a sign. And if you want to leave your sign along with the sentence, even better. Let's see how many marked are here now. But be careful. This protection is not eternal if you ignore who you really are. It does not activate automatically. It's not a shield that works when you're disconnected, pretending to be something you're not, forcing a life that was never yours. This spiritual protection, the one that Edgar Cayce said was imprinted on the spirit of the chosen ones, only remains as long as you are vibrating in the truth of your soul, while you are walking on the path of your essence. Because just as it manifests itself when you are aligned with your purpose, It can also weaken when you betray yourself, and enemies, seen and unseen, smell it. They feel when you are vulnerable, when he strayed from his mission, when intuition shut down, when he ignored the call. There is a very delicate point that needs to be said, and maybe you feel that chill now, because this moment is not light. It's a warning, a spiritual alert, not to generate fear but to wake you up. What Cayce taught is that there is a vibrational consequence for every choice we make, and every time you say yes to something that goes against your spiritual nature, you don't just weaken your vibration, you create cracks in your energy field. Small cracks where tiredness, confusion, wrong people, silent illnesses, sabotaging thoughts enter, and over time, if you continue to feed what is not yours, the protective shield begins to fail, and it really fails. It's not about punishment, it's about frequency. When you deny who you are, you change seasons, and if you change stations, what was directed at you, protection, intuition, messages, synchronicities, no longer finds an open channel. Imagine an antenna that stops capturing the signal because it has been turned the wrong way. This is exactly what happens when you live outside your spiritual axis. And this imbalance is much more common than you think, because today's world offers you 1,000 ways to distract yourself from your truth, pushes you into routines, relationships, beliefs, and habits that you don't have nothing to do with who you really are. And when you insist on it, the symptoms appear. First in the body, unexplained tiredness, insomnia, emotional crises, a feeling of weight on the shoulders, pain that comes and goes without a physical cause. Then, in the field, difficulties that repeat themselves, toxic cycles that don't break, energetic connections that drain you, constant fear, the feeling that something is wrong, but you don't know what. And finally, in the subtle signs, your dreams disappear, intuition silences, the signs stop coming, not because spirituality has given up on you, but because you have turned away from it. Cayce called this temporary vibrational blackout, a kind of spiritual numbness that happens when the soul is living outside the mission, and it is precisely at this moment that the enemy attacks, because where there is conscious light, darkness respects it, but where there is light out, darkness enters. The enemy is not just external, sometimes it is internal. It's the thought that sabotages you. It's the pattern that pulls you back. It's the fear of being who you came to be. It's the unhealed trauma that you insist on ignoring. All of this creates gaps. All of this invites chaos. Therefore, this warning needs to be taken seriously. You can no longer play with your light. You can no longer pretend you don't know what you're doing, because now you know. Now you have been remembered, and there's no way to unhear that. You can even try to go back to living automatically, but something inside you won't allow it. It will bother you. You're going to scream. It will pull, because once the soul recognizes its origin, the path back is never comfortable. And there's more. The more advanced your mission, the more severe the effects are when you move away from it. This is not punishment. It is vibrational adjustment. It's as if the universe said, if you don't walk with your light, you won't be able to sustain your field. And the field is everything. This is where the signals arrive. This is where the angels operate. It is in him that dreams communicate. And if the field is dirty, fragmented, disconnected, the soul goes into survival mode. It doesn't expand. It contracts. And its mission cannot be done in a contracted way. Cayce always reinforced this. The spirit protects, but the soul must cooperate. You cannot receive spiritual protection if you continue to choose to live in the frequency of lies, guilt, attachment, ego, fear. Because what protects you is not the angel. It is your alignment with it. The angel only acts where there is vibrational permission. And this permission happens when you live your truth, when you honor your gifts, when you refuse to continue molding yourself to what others expect. Of course, no one is perfect. We all disconnect from time to time. We all fall. All of us at some point choose the easiest, most comfortable, most accepted path. But what defines the chosen ones is the ability to return, to recognize the error, to reactivate the shield, to clear the field, to resume the mission. Because spirituality doesn't require perfection. It requires commitment. And every time you choose to return to your truth, protection returns with you. It never disappears completely. She just moves away until you reactivate. Maybe you are living exactly this moment right now. a cycle of tiredness, a phase of spiritual silence, a sequence of difficult events that seem to have no explanation. Maybe this video found you at that point. Maybe this alert is for you. Maybe today is the day you'll look at all of this and say, "No more, I'll come back to myself." Because only you can do that. Only you can say, "Enough." Only you can activate the seal of your protection again. And when you do that, the universe responds, the doors move, the synchronicities return, the dreams return, the signals multiply. Now breathe, sit down. It brings to mind the moments when you realized you were disconnected. Remember the situations in which you ignored your intuition, in which you forced yourself to continue where the soul had already left. Remember the alerts you received and didn't hear, the people who drained you and who you insisted on keeping close, the habits that made you sick and that you justified out of fear of changing. This is all part of your process. None of this condemns you, but now you know. Now you remember. And when consciousness awakens, healing begins. If you feel like this alert was made for you, write here in the comments, "I choose to align myself," or "I return to my essence." If you feel the call, don't ignore it. Also write your sign, so that we can recognize who is reactivating spiritual protection here and now. This is your moment. This is your return. The next part will show you how your spiritual field responds when you start walking towards your mission again. And the signs, the signs will come back strong. Stay with me, because now the vibration changes. If you felt your body shiver while listening to those words, if any, memory, an old feeling has activated, if images have come to your mind without explanation, if your heart has accelerated somewhere as if someone had spoken directly to you, then pay attention, because this is more than an emotional response. It's a clear sign that you've been touched by something bigger, something that comes from within but also from outside, a silent, deep force that was already there, just dormant, waiting for a moment like this to be remembered. And when this type of vibration manifests itself, there is no going back. Awake consciousness does not go back to sleep. Maybe you remembered something you always knew but never had the courage to say out loud. Perhaps you felt a presence next to you as you listened, as if someone invisible was looking at you with respect, with love, with longing. Maybe right now you are even half silent, staring into space, processing all of this, because your soul has understood what your mind is still trying to achieve. This is spiritual activation. This is remembering. This is being seen from the invisible plane. And when you are seen, you are called. And when it is called, you can no longer ignore it. You are more than you thought you were. You are not here just to survive another week, another month, another year. You are here because there is something in you that needs to be revealed, shared, experienced. And this is directly linked to your spiritual sign, your astrological journey, and the mission that your spirit accepted before you were even born. Each difficult phase you experienced was not punishment, it was preparation. Each person who left you when you needed it most was actually helping you remember that your strength doesn't come from others, it comes from within. Every cycle that broke without explanation, every dream interrupted, every plan that fell apart, all of this was the universe polishing you for this moment. Now you begin to see that it wasn't bad luck, it was alignment. It wasn't abandonment, it was protection. It wasn't failure, it was a restart. The invisible has been with you all along. Only now, after everything you heard and felt here, you begin to recognize it. Start to trust. Start listening more, feeling more, accepting more. This is the first step to activating the spiritual field that surrounds you. And this field only responds to one thing: truth, yours. Not what they expect from you, not the one they taught you, but the one that vibrates inside, insisting on, pulsing, even when you try to keep quiet. You no longer need to hide from your spirituality. You no longer need to justify your intuition, nor apologize for feeling more than others. You are not alone. You never were. And now that you remembered, the invisible recognized you. This recognition opens a new phase of your life, a phase where answers begin to arrive before questions, where the signs appear clearly, where you attract what's yours without having to force it. And it all starts with the simple decision to align, to say, "I accept my essence," to recognize that you are part of something much bigger, and that this strength is now ready to sustain you. That's why the next step is so important. because what follows is no longer an explanation, no longer a video, no longer just spiritual content. It's a portal, an access, a deeper dive into the hidden strength of a sign that carries an ancestral gift, a gift that even Edgar Cayce hesitated to reveal in full. Such was the responsibility behind this energy. And in the next episode, you'll understand why. You will meet the sign that carries a silent but undeniable call, a gift that, when activated, transforms everything around it, including you. And if everything you heard here today made your heart beat faster, if you felt that at some point I was describing exactly what you live, think, or feel, comment below now. I am protected, right with conscience, like a seal, like a silent pact with your soul, as if to say I remember. And if you want to strengthen this spiritual current even further, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, someone who may be lost, confused, tired, but who deep down carries the same mark as you. Like this video if you felt like it spoke to you. This helps not only the channel to grow, but this message to reach more people who, like you, are ready to remember who they are. And if you haven't signed up yet, sign up now and turn on notifications, because what comes next will touch you on an even deeper level. And I want you to be with me on this journey. You are not alone. The invisible has already recognized you, and it's waiting for you to take the next step. If you've made it this far, that already says a lot about you. It was not for nothing that he remained until the end. His soul recognized this message, and that is exactly why I want to invite you to delve even deeper into this spiritual journey that is just beginning. Subscribe to the channel now. Activate the bell and guarantee that you won't miss any of the next episodes. Each one is a piece of the puzzle of your spiritual mission. And if you've felt this connection so far, leave a like on this video right now. This shows that you are ready to accept who you really are. And I want to see you in the comments, writing with intention and truth. I recognize my mission. This phrase is not just a comment. It is a spiritual seal. It's a silent commitment to what you already know inside. And don't leave here without clicking on the next video that appears on the left side of the screen. There, I will reveal even deeper details about the hidden gift of one of the most enigmatic signs in existence. A gift that even Edgar Cayce hesitated to fully reveal. You need to see this. I'll meet you there.